In a world where hope once soared high above the city of Metropolis, a darkness looms, casting a shadow over the once bright and bustling streets. This is the tragic tale of Superman, the last flight. Meet Clark Kent, the mild-mannered reporter who conceals an extraordinary secret. For years, he has stood as a beacon of hope and justice, but now faces his greatest challenge yet. Lois Lane, intrepid journalist and Clark's closest friend, is struck down by a relentless foe, a cancer that threatens to snuff out her light forever. Determined to save Lois at any cost, Clark embarks on a perilous journey across the cosmos, seeking a legendary cure known only as the Rao Flower. But when hope turns to despair and the cure fails, Superman is left with a shattered heart and a world plunged into darkness. Join us as we unravel the heartbreaking saga of Superman's final flight, a tale of loss, sacrifice, and the enduring power of hope in the face of despair. Subscribe to the channel and like the video for more content like this. Take the opportunity to suggest the theme for the next video below in the comments. In the shadows of Metropolis, a city that had long grown accustomed to the comforting sight of blue and red streaking across the skies, there hung a growing melancholy. Times had changed, and with them, the hope that Superman's symbol represented for so many. Clark Kent, the man behind the cape, felt the weight of these changes more than ever. Despite his best efforts, the world seemed more divided than ever. As he soared through the skies, the gazes that once greeted him with admiration now held suspicion and fear. The age of heroes was coming to an end, and even the Man of Steel couldn't halt this inevitable march of time. One morning, while Clark was in the offices of the Daily Planet, he received news that shook his world unexpectedly. Lois Lane, his love and longtime companion, was gravely ill. The diagnosis was grim, an advanced cancer that had spread rapidly. Clark felt as if the ground had been pulled from beneath his feet. Lois was his pillar, his anchor in the storm. And now, he faced the possibility of losing her forever. Determined to do everything he could to help her, Clark delved into his investigation of Lois's illness. He scoured the world's most advanced laboratories, consulted with top doctors and scientists, but hope seemed to grow more distant. As the days passed, Lois grew weaker, her once bright eyes now clouded by pain and illness. Clark was desperate. He would do anything to save his love, even resorting to means he himself considered impossible. It was then that he remembered an old Kryptonian legend, a tale of healing and renewal that echoed through the corridors of time. A rare plant, known as the Rao Flower, was said to possess healing properties beyond human understanding. Determined, Clark set out on a journey through space, following rumors and vague hints about the flower's location. He faced unimaginable dangers, from meteor storms to encounters with beings of unfathomable power. But he persevered, guided by the hope of saving Lois. Finally, after months of tireless searching, Clark found the flower on a distant planet, bathed in the golden light of a dying star. Carefully, he harvested a small sample of the flower and returned to Earth, his heart beating with the promise of healing he carried with him. When Clark arrived at Lois's side, he found his love on the brink of death. Cancer had consumed much of her strength, and the shadow of death loomed over her like an inevitable specter. With trembling hands, Clark administered the essence of the Rao Flower to Lois, watching with hope as the flower's golden light spread through her body. For a brief moment, it seemed that the cure was working, that Lois would be saved from the darkness that surrounded her. But then, like a candle burning in the wind, the light flickered out. Clark looked on in shock as Lois slipped beyond the reach of the cure, her body finally succumbing to the disease that plagued her. The Man of Steel fell to his knees beside his love, his heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. He had given everything of himself, risked all that he was, and yet he had failed to save the one person who mattered most to him. In that moment of despair, Clark felt something inside him break. The flame of hope burning within him for so long was extinguished, leaving only a cold, senseless void. With a cry of anguish, Superman rose into the skies, his tears mingling with the rain falling from above. He flew higher than he had ever flown before, his heart heavy with the burden of his losses. And then, in one final act of despair and hopelessness, Superman disappeared into the far reaches of space, leaving behind a broken world and a city that would never be the same. The symbol of hope had departed, taking with it the light that once illuminated the world. And in the silence that followed, Metropolis mourned the loss of its greatest hero, while the man who was once known as Superman wandered aimlessly through the vast emptiness of the cosmos, lost forever in the darkness. Subscribe to the channel and like the video for more content like this. Take the opportunity to suggest the theme for the next video below in the comments. See you in the next video.